I would say embrace the kind of chaos. You're going to have a linear pathway. Things ratchet up in complexity as you add more people in. And so the ability to build out processes underneath that is really critical. We call highly aligned and loosely coupled.
Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, SK. Our guest is Peter Reitano, a seasoned entrepreneur and marketer with over 15 years of experience in advertising and brand growth.
The next phase of AI for businesses is really wrapping these large language models in vertical use cases. You already are very specific, narrow, vertical AI agents that solve specific tasks for businesses, both large and small.
Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, SK. And today, our guest is Peter Reitano, a seasoned entrepreneur and marketer with over 15 years of experience in advertising and brand growth. Peter is a founder, investor, and a partner at Academy, a modern advertising agency that has worked with iconic brands like Goose and Sleep Country. He is known for driving remarkable growth through innovative campaigns and strategic expertise. Get ready for an insightful discussion you won't want to miss. Peter, welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have entrepreneurs from different industries to chat with in this studio. Peter, your journey into digital marketing during the 2008 financial crisis is really fascinating. It's a story of resilience and adaptability, showing how challenges can spark innovation. Can you share what led you to digital marketing and how your early experiences shape your career and business philosophy?
Yeah, good question. My career has been a bit of a zigzag. So I didn't go to school for marketing. I actually went to school for music initially. And then post school, got into computer science, was really into computers. I joined my first agency in the UK and just loved it. And that was really at the start of the SEO, PPC
Which
kind
year
of
was
digital
that?
marketing. That was, that must have been, around 2007, 2008, something like that.
Okay.
Loved it. I was always on the technical side, but when I joined that agency, I just realized that I loved the client side, the sales side, and the strategy side. And so they put me in that role. Ultimately, I helped take their business out to Australia. And then I came over to Canada in 2011. And that's when I started my entrepreneurial journey. I joined an agency very early on and became a partner in that company, and we grew that, ultimately selling the business. And then I started my next agency, Abacus, and then now I'm on my a third called Academy.
Yeah, that's incredibly inspiring, Peter. Like your story reflects the entrepreneurial spirit that adapts to unexpected challenges. What would you share with entrepreneurs, who are navigating similar pivotal moments in their careers?
I would say embrace the kind of chaos. It's unlikely in 2025 that you're going to have a linear pathway now where you train in school, do X, Y, Z. You're going to be doing this for the next 25 years. Things are rapidly changing so much. When I went to school, digital marketing didn't even exist,
Exist,
right?
right?
Like sitting down with the career advisor in 2001, this stuff did, what were you going to be? These things weren't even on the menu. So a certain amount of adaptability and interest in how the environment is changing and the ability to adapt, I think, is key for
Curiosity to
entrepreneurs.
learn, right?
Learn and adapt, yeah, and be
Right.
flexible, yeah.
Right. Your journey shows how determination and adaptability can lead to success even during tough times. It's a reminder for all entrepreneurs out there to embrace unexpected opportunities. Dear listeners, Peter's story reminds us that challenges often carry hidden opportunities. Keep exploring, stay adaptable, and embrace the digital tools available to grow your business. Up next, we will explore the challenges and strategies involved in scaling a business. Scaling, as Peter, a lot of people, as everyone aware, like scaling a business is no small feat, and every entrepreneur faces hurdles. Your expertise in building processes and fostering discipline is invaluable in this regard. What are the most significant challenges businesses face when scaling, and how can they overcome this effectively?
Yeah, well, and the first thing is things change in a kind of video game structure as you scale up. So, to start with, it's just you. You do everything. You're controlling the strings. You're doing the logo. Maybe you're posting on social. You're delivering whatever client work that you're doing. If you're in a client service business, you add a few people and you're managing them. But things ratchet up in complexity as you add more people in, and so the ability to build out processes underneath that is really critical, really key. So the ability to shift from individual contributor to manager, and ultimately the person as you scale up that sets the vision, sets the direction, but isn't involved in the day to day. At Academy, one of the leadership kind of strategies that we use, we call highly aligned and loosely coupled. So, our job as leaders in the organization is to set the vision, set the direction, clarify things, but allow people to get on with their work. We don't kind of micromanage. We don't put, ultimately, we're not kind of involved in the nitty gritty work. We have great people that can help with that, but we have to set the vision and clarify any obstacles to help people achieve that vision. So, highly aligned, loosely coupled.
Okay. Peter, over 98% of Canadian businesses are small businesses,
Mhm.
making them vital to our economy. What's one quick win businesses can achieve by implementing disciplined processes?
Well, you need repeatability in your business. Otherwise, every time you face a challenge or you do something, there's this kind of chaotic, um, you know, task completion, I suppose. So, the ability to create repeatable, scalable processes means you can grow your business, you can save time, you can be more efficient, things like that. And now with the advent of AI and automation, the opportunities are
Immense.
limitless for doing this stuff. So, you know, I think one of the reasons brands are hesitant sometimes with working with agencies is they have a lot of tend to have a lot of kind of overhead, a lot of bloat, some amount of inefficiencies. And one of the things we're doing at Academy is really trying to allow our people to focus on the creative work and the kind of delivery work, the performance work, but get rid of all of that efficiency through using automation and AI. Allow our people to focus on the good stuff. So, um, yeah, I mean, look, if you want to grow your business and you want to create more profitability, creating scalable processes is super key.
Right. As you mentioned, AI, like what role do you think AI is playing when it comes to digital marketing?
Yeah, so there's a gazillion tools out there to start with, so it can be a little bit confusing. I think people can get caught up in the shiny object of AI. Like there's, Coca-Cola just did their whole ad, their Christmas ad in AI. That's really cool. That's really interesting. But you know, what we try and do at Academy is find high leverage points that we can apply automation and AI to and just focus in on those things. So for us, we found that, we do a lot of reporting and we build out strategies for our clients. And building out a strategy involves a lot of data analysis, collection. It can involve a lot of manual work. And so if you can build out tools, a stack of AI, you can say, okay, compare these 5 brands, go out there, extract that data and present it to me in a cohesive manner. So you can save a lot of time on that. And equally with reporting, you can have the AI and automation extract the data, provide a little bit of analysis, but ultimately what you can do is you can build, you know, client hubs and things like that. So you're ingesting all of this information. Okay, what were the campaigns we ran? What creative actually worked? And so over time, you can have an AI that's incredibly smart that you can query it. So, what creative works best for this brand? What copywriting kind of tricks and tips should I avoid or go for? Things like that. So you can get a lot more data, you can get a lot more insights, but ultimately you can save a lot of time.
Right. Peter, when it comes to small businesses, how they can leverage technology and AI to free up time and scale effectively.
Yeah. I mean, I think the simplest way to leverage it today is you can find tools that are designed for vertical use cases. What I mean by that is, you could use something like a chat GPT or a perplexity, but these are broad tools that you can use for a lot of different use cases. But the next phase of AI for businesses is really wrapping these large language models in vertical use cases. So, for example, an accounting firm, they have a lot of repetitive tasks. There's going to be agents and AI specifically for specific tasks, financial analysis, and just apply that out to whatever business you can think of: legal, paralegal work, administrative, looking at across case law, things like that. So you're going to start to see, and you already are, very specific, narrow, vertical AI agents that solve specific tasks for businesses, both large and small.
That's really, like a great point. Embracing AI can truly revolutionize businesses, like the workflows. What are some practical steps, Peter, for businesses just beginning the journey with AI and automation?
Mm. I mean, honestly, these are relatively low cost tools. So you can get in there, you can start playing with it. I think the first obvious one that most people are playing with is ChatGPT.
Right.
You can use that in your personal life just as a search engine. A lot of people are using that, just get to know the tools, and then finding business cases. But where I would start, and where Academy has started on, using it in business, is what are the tasks that I do a lot of the time that I think I could be that I think I could automate, or where are some really high leverage areas that I think, if I had two or three more employees applied to this, could it add some more value, and then take out the employees and think about it from a tool or an AI engine. So where are some engines that where are some areas that I could get a lot of leverage that I could apply this technology to, and then really focus in on those things. With this kind of stuff, I always think in heuristics, like you should think about a mental model like a razor, like, where are the priorities? What are the two or three things that I can solve, and really focus in on those things.
Right. Peter, are there any simple to use automation tools that you recommend for small businesses?
I mean, ChatGPT, like I
Right.
said, you could start with the basic ChatGPT of just like querying things, doing research, things like that. Hey, write me a social media caption for this, and then you can take it and edit it. But also, ChatGPT has custom GPTs in
Right.
there, so you could build out, you know, if you're raising money in a startup, you could say to this custom GPT, I'm building a insert the blank business. Can you do some baseline research and then give me a 10-page structure for a pitch deck?
Mhm.
It would give you a 10-page structure. Then you can kind of go in there and fill in the blanks.
Right. Really, AI and automation are game changers, offering efficiency and freeing up time for innovation. And thanks for sharing your tips, Peter. Your tips simplify the journey for businesses starting with these AI tools. Stay with us, folks. After the break, we will uncover insights on B2B sales and how it can redefine business operations.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. You still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our conversation with Peter, exploring the transformative role of B2B sales in driving business growth. Now, we will discuss the impact of B2B sales and business growth and operations. Peter, your journey demonstrates how B2B sales can be a game changer, driving growth and shaping business operations. Peter, how did your focus on B2B sales reshape Academy, and what lessons can small businesses learn from your experience?
So my sales background, I've been doing sales probably a decade now, all B2B.
All entrepreneurs are salespeople.
You have to be. I mean, you have to be a salesperson if you're, you know, if you're raising money, you have to be
Right,
selling somebody. If
right.
you're going to the bank, you have to be
Yes.
selling something. If you're, you've got to attract people into your business. You're selling them your vision. But ultimately, if you're a B2B company, you're trying to get customers as well. And so you're selling those customers. A couple of things. I mean, my sales background has always revolved around, relationships. I've been pretty good at forming relationships. So I've always, built out networks, retain close relationships with people, see where I could help people, and vice versa, things like that. But ultimately, sales is about solving a problem. You get to know somebody, you work out what their challenges are, and then you can insert the blank to make their dreams come true. And so, really, the sales process for me starts with asking a lot of questions,
Question.
finding out what's going on in their head, what their hopes and dreams are, what their challenges are, and can your solution help them on that journey?
Right. B2B sales build strong partnerships and open doors to sustained growth. Peter, your experiences shows how sales strategies can reshape the operations. Finally, let's round this discussion by focusing on the high and lows of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is an as much about growth as it's about embracing challenges. Your story offers valuable lessons for those just starting out. What have been the most rewarding and challenging aspect of your entrepreneurial journey? And what would you say to those aspiring entrepreneurs who may be feeling overwhelmed?
Mm. I mean, first off, entrepreneurship. I've heard this expression that life is like a sine wave, but business is like a sine wave too. And you've got these kind of ups and downs and ups and downs. And you realize pretty early on that um, that's a constant. You can't get rid of the downs. We'd love to get rid of the downs, but you can't get rid of the downs. And so you need to be able to embrace the ups, but also live with the downs. And so you can't get too carried away with the wins, and you can't get too destroyed by the losses. And so I think probably one of the most important characteristics for entrepreneurs is a certain kind of stoicism and resilience, the ability to weather the storms, and again, not get carried away. Oh my God, I'm the best. I'm winning at this particular moment, because something is coming down the pipe that's going to knock you on your feet. So that resilience is really important. For me, what have been some of the best things in my career? Gosh, I mean, at Academy, we help businesses grow, and those businesses employ people. Those businesses have people that have families. So ultimately we're helping people live their lives and expand their businesses. It's incredibly rewarding. At Academy, we employ almost 40 people. you know that's also incredibly rewarding. These are 40 people that are part of our community, our team, and you know um we help them make a living. So that's incredibly rewarding too. But selling a business was really fun, really great. But there's always knockbacks on the way. If you've ever, I have another business called Mojo, which is a kind of e-commerce startup. um Going through financing, raising money for that. It's a process of taking 1,000 no's to get 20
That's
yeses.
true, right? Right.
So there's always knockbacks, there's always issues. You just as a service business, you're dependent on cash flow. And so I don't know a single business like ours where the owners aren't kind of occasionally sweating it at night, like, how am I going to make payroll? What am I going to do? So all of those things, it's just the reality of running a
Right, right.
business. So
As you rightly said, Peter, entrepreneurship is about passion,
mm,
resilience, and learning from every challenge. And Peter, your reflections encourage others to appreciate the process as much as the results. And Peter, like before we wrap up, how can like any of our listeners who is interested into getting connected with you, like what's the best way to reach you?
They can find us at the Academy website, madebyacademy.com. You can find us on all of the usual socials, Instagram, etc. But madebyacademy.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your insights and your advice with our listeners, the
Of course.
entrepreneurs. Today, it was a great pleasure hosting you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Our heartfelt thanks to Peter Reitano for taking us through his inspiring entrepreneurial journey and shedding light on the power of strategic advertising. A special thanks to our partners as well, RBC, UPS, and Google, for their continued support in making this podcast possible. For more insights like this, visit our official website at CanadianSME.ca and subscribe to Canadian SME Small Business Magazine. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. See you in the next episode of the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast.